Hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Formula Pod. And we are talking all about the Canadian Grand Prix. Well, for starters, of course, with the weather, we thought something different was supposed to happen. And something different did happen, but towards the end, the Dutch national anthem played once again. And yeah, joining back, it is the crew of Mercedes McLaren or McLaren Mercedes. You know, people from London, of course. One dude from Exeter, Mihir, finally joins back. At least he would be having a pretty happy what do you call session after that P3 P4 finish and the pole position. So welcome here back to the show. And yeah, Vishruti as always slaying.
Finish the sentence.
Again, that's what I said. As always, she's slaying.
Thank you. Because you see, there was a pause right after he said Vishnati, and I was like, Mihir gets this long paragraph, and I get Vishnati's here. I was like, is there more?
No. Again,
No?
Mihir came back. Last week he wasn't there. This week he is there. Mihir can give, you are always there. But then the weeks when you weren't there and the week you come in the succeeding week, you are given a longer paragraph. So shush.
Consistency is key, Arjun. Consistency is key.
Consistency is key. If you don't come, the next week when you come in, I will give you the paragraph.
But you see, now that I think about it, because you're a Merc fan, I don't think you get that line. Moving on.
It's a voice. Like her laugh is so sinister.
Thanks. Thank you.
Very concerned.
We'll figure it out. I think.
Let's talk about Canada.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Canada. Stop talking about Vishruti and her life.
Sinister laugh.
Because if that's the episode, we have a full load to go, and I'm pretty sure Vishruti's parents would be tuning it in detail if you're talking just about Vishruti's life as a podcast. But anyways, shifting that off to the race again. First things first, a Mercedes pole, very first Mercedes pole position for the year in that disastrous W15 as well. Well, as a Merc fan here, what were those initial thoughts?
Obviously, I was very proud of Mercedes on everything they did. I think George Russell had a few opportunities during the races. A very slow start from everyone, but I would like to point out that Haas did an exceptionally well job when it comes to the first 15, 20 laps of the race. They really dominated. It was very easy for Kevin. Amazing strategy from their side. I think it worked out really well for them. Coming back to Mercedes, I think reaction time was pretty okay. The qualifying was exceptionally well. I think George Russell really put himself out there. Canada is mostly about straight lines and fast curves. So I think George's car was exceptionally crafted in that way. Lewis was not up to his mark, and Lewis wasn't even happy. He said there were multiple upgrades, but he didn't feel the car was up to the mark. It was fast a few turns, a few laps. Red Bull is Red Bull. I don't think I have to say anything. But I would like to talk about McLaren, but I think Vish would be more happier to talk about McLaren. Vish, you wanna enlighten our listeners with your so-called McLaren team?
So-called. You say McLaren was somewhere up there, and then you say so-called McLaren. I see that. But see, the entire weekend, McLaren was really good, really consistent. You could see Lando and Oscar topping the charts, and it was beautiful to watch them race. And even during the race, at one point, I think if it weren't for the safety car, it could have been Lando's race. This is what helped him in Miami pushed him back this time, and I wish that wasn't the case. When Logan Sargent crashed, I was really, really angry at him, but at the same time, I was like, fine, it happens as long as the driver is safe. I think we're good. But it could have been Lando's race. You know, they had amazing pace throughout. His overtakes on George as well as Max, especially his overtake on Max, was absolutely breathtaking to watch. Like, my room was like noisy for a good like 5-10 minutes because I was on a high watching Lando race, and that speed, the distance, the gap he created between him and Max at one point was astonishing. I think it was like what, 20 seconds, right? At one point it was beautiful to watch that, right? And if they wouldn't have, the only one downside is that if he wouldn't have pitted a little bit later, maybe he would have been able to maintain that thing. He had the gap, but at one point I think Max with the fresher tires was able to catch on, as the Red Bull usually does, and overtake. He was quite close, but
Are you talking about the Canadian Grand Prix, or are you talking about something else?
well,
Because
Max was
no. I'll tell you this, because when the 20-second bit, he did do the overcut, and then towards the end, he did come to change from the inters to
Yeah.
slicks, and then
Yeah.
he came ahead of Max. Only problem was on the pit exit there was water ponds there, and he didn't get control, and then Max overtook him.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Oh, okay. I was like, what were you really talking about? I had no clue.
Getting to it. Anyways, I just spoiled it. But overall, McLaren had a good weekend, and I'm also proud of Oscar.
No, but I got to give it to this race specific. I need to give it to Aston Martins. Both Aston
they were
Martins
good.
on points, and both of them again during the first couple of laps. It was a treat for the eyes to see Lewis Hamilton versus Fernando Alonso.
Mm.
Like literally, that old rivalry comes again, and I'm 110% down for that. And at the front, of course, you have had George versus Max versus Lando. Again, that three going on one side. Oscar in his own world. Then there is Fernando and Lewis. And then, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo losing positions at first, but yet he was kind of managing his position somewhere either way. But yeah, all of a sudden, yeah, I got really surprised when Haas got the entire grid got it wrong except for Haas.
What happened actually? Because for some reason, I lost my Wi-Fi during that moment when Haas was dominating. What happened?
No, I feel like the track was so wet because already it was raining. Track was so wet. Majority of the teams thought, okay, we'll go for inters.
Yeah.
Because it's not raining quite a lot. But then Haas went for the extreme bit and thought, okay, we'll go for extreme wets. And to a certain extent, I believe till lap 15, it worked to the advantage. Because by lap 15, there was a dry line which was starting to form.
Mm-hmm.
Which towards the end, like again, the track started drying up and the wets kind of knocked it off. But then they messed up a pit stop. The Haas did actually mess up a pit stop. Kevin Magnussen had relatively longer pit stop, and that was the same case with Ferrari as well. I don't know.
Ferrari needs to be analyzed. Ferrari needs to be sat down and analyzed this race for them, because Monaco was gorgeous, and then Montreal.
I know, it's just like a complete shit show towards the end. I was like, what? Like Charles Leclerc was on, like he got his pit stop done. For a second, I'm like, this guy doesn't have time penalty. Then why is he on the pit box?
Yeah.
And that was up, if I'm not wrong, about 27 seconds.
24 seconds, 24.5 seconds. I was like, why are they stalling? What's going on? I was so confused. And then he starts going, I was like, maybe is it a power unit? Is it an engine issue? Something. And
because
then he
initially
goes,
there was an issue. There was an issue saying that, oh, there is something wrong with the gearbox.
Yeah. But then when he went on, I was like, why? Why do you want to... He was already way behind. And I mean, I'm just happy that he retired the car, because I do not want to see a Ferrari go that low. As such, they qualified quite low. I mean, when was the last time we saw a Ferrari qualify out of Q2?
Both, I believe, if I'm not wrong, it is 2014, if I'm not wrong. Last
10
time,
years.
double Ferrari like knockout. But again, I need to even talk about Sergio Perez. He got a contract extension, a 1+1
Yeah.
contract extension, like how Lewis got with Mercedes last year. And what is he doing?
I think he's really
It's
regretting re-signing
you
him.
know, it's like he's building so much repair damn costs for Red Bull now.
I think the whole concept of, my concept of Perez being a Red Bull is very simple. And I'm going to lay it down in a way where all the listeners can also understand the way it is. So Max is becoming a brand for,
Okay.
I think, wants any asset. Is like Max is already dominated that. So they want someone who can just partner up with it, be the Robin, with obviously Max Verstappen is the. So they want a Robin Hood to just take care of his, you know, belonging or whatever he's leaving out on the track. Um, I think it's a good. I mean, in terms of Max, I think that's okay because he doesn't really have a competition, right? He
Yeah.
doesn't have. But I mean, I'm pretty sure for people who have watched the race, at one point, I think it was the last 4 laps of the race where Lewis Hamilton and George Russell were racing together, and then George overtook Hamilton.
Oh yeah, that was the last 2 laps or last lap.
Last two
It was
laps.
the last
Lap-
lap or something.
Not last two laps. Lap
68.
lap 66 out of
Exactly.
67.
So, in my head, I was like, I hope these two don't crash. Plus, it was wet. So, I guess it works out in a way, but obviously Perez performing very poorly considering he's in one of the most fastest cars on the grid, which is very concerning, at least to me. So I think they're letting him very easy for the last only few more races, to be honest. So next year should be new for everyone. Also, I have a very important question to ask, which I'll ask at the end. I think this could be answered in 3 different ways. I have my own answer. You guys. But that was my thoughts on Perez. Where it's not the time of his year, but apparently they see a talent that we don't. So I'm pretty sure Red Bull wouldn't invest that time and energy in it. And I think during qualifying, or maybe he's just a really good teammate. So I think
Well-
everyone does have a really has a really no, I wouldn't say hate, but has a bad repo with Max, especially Hamilton, especially Mercedes after Abu Dhabi. So I guess they're just playing it safe by keeping it Perez. What do you think, Arjun?
Well, see, Perez, let's say again, at Formula One, it's not just about the sport, it's also about the money. So, based on what I have read, Perez actually brings about $33 million worth of sponsorship to Red Bull. So, again, 33 million is not a small figure. That's probably
But I mean, he's
like, again, agreed the bit again, because you don't want like a Logan Sargent style of driving coming up on the
I was
top
just gonna say
team
that.
of Formula One again, because okay, let's take this back to 2016 when Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, both of them get into accidents, and it reached a point where for them to be kind of both of them to kind of drive more carefully, they were told, okay, if you crash the car again, you're going to foot the bill. And then after that, there weren't crashes. Again, there were healthy fights were there. But then, what coming back to Sergio Perez's thing, he's not reaching Q3 for quite a while now.
Yeah.
He's hovering either max Q1 or Q2. Q2 is the maximum he has appeared. And compared to last year he was far more better at during like round 9 of 23. Because this is for a moment I just feel like it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to Red Bull at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because when Pierre Gasly was Max Verstappen's teammate, when Alex Albon was Max Verstappen's teammate. Due to performance issues, they were sacked. My question is, what is Sergio Perez? Why is Sergio Perez not sacked?
You
Because
need to
again, this
consider
is
one thing
consistent.
also, Arjun.
This is consistent. He's not crossing Q2, and that's not the Red Bull's, not the car's fault. That RB20 can easily do the job.
I mean, we
Okay,
can see that in
let's
Max.
say Monaco as an exception, because okay, the car wasn't that great. What about Montreal? Montreal, I'm not saying that the car was at the best form, but it did win. So that means it had considerable amount of
Potential.
speed it can take. And Sergio Perez, he was instructed to bring a damaged car back to pits, which costed Red Bull €50,000 fine and a 3-place grid penalty for Sergio Perez in the Spanish Grand Prix.
And if he does the same quali,
Again, I don't deem to kind of see that something which is safe. That's not safe. That's strictly not safe. And he just did that because they don't want to trigger a safety car. Well, if it's a damage, it is a damage. Rather stop the car there, let the safety car come and just do it. And in fact, I feel the safety car has played an important role in this Canadian Grand Prix.
Oh, absolutely.
Because at a time where there were a lot of gaps, that safety car with 2 to 3 laps of safety car kind of closed all the gaps. And then it was close fighting going on. Like Lando, Russell, Lewis, all were very close. Each had a gap of probably like half a second or less than half a second gap. And I have not seen that for quite a while in Formula One. Like 2, 3, 4, ending it in that much close proximity. Like, again, what do you think here? Do you think like the safety car kind of had its role to play at the Canadian Grand Prix? Like it just made the race. What do you think? Did it make the race more interesting or a lot more boring?
Look, I'm gonna give you two perspectives.
Okay.
Safety car, number one, safety car is there for safety for the driver, so I kind of get that. But safety car does slow down a track, and there are two ways of slowing down. It could either finish the race, or it could make a new possibility. It can give drivers a new chance to really get in there at the last opportunity where all the cars are aligned, they're on the grid. They can use DRS. It's a fantastic strategy, yet it can also go the other way around. I would also like to point out where Lando Norris, the only reason he won the previous race because of safety.
Yeah, that I'll give it to you.
Even yesterday's race, the Canadian Grand Prix, he did say that he said I had my luck with safety car last race, and now I didn't. So he's accepting the fact that the safety car has played a crucial role for him. Now, those are my two answers with obviously an example of Lando Norris. I think it's okay to have a safety car out there. You can't put a compromise on safety, especially with these kind of cars and this sport. Safety is everything.
Exactly. The only thing that I kept thinking of, you saying that, the only thing I kept thinking of when Logan was on track was that the safety car should come out. They should bring out a safety car for the fact that, I mean, he was literally sideways on the track. And there were cars passing by him. It was not safe for him or the other cars. So I'm just glad that when it came to Logan, there was a safety car out. I think it's the most basic thing. I don't know why. I mean, I know exactly why Red Bull wanted Perez to bring in the car on his own, even though it was damaged. But it was not right on their part. I'm just glad that he gets reprimanded for that with a grid penalty. But I'm just happy that safety car was bought out when necessary.
Vish, do you want to tell the listeners why he continued racing?
I mean, so they already have a budget cap, and if they cross that specific budget cap, they won't be able to make some changes later in the season. So because of that, they wanted to reduce the amount of money that they would have to spend for this specific race on Perez's car. So they wanted him to bring the car back to the pit stop, put to the pit lane before anything else happened. And if you want to continue on.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's a very. I keep telling this to people who just get in Formula One as well. Formula One currently is a marketing. It's more money oriented. It's more about how do you market yourself out there as a driver. Formula
Exactly.
One back then wasn't all about money. It was about this passionate racing, understanding the skills, and every team has come up with the new strategies and engineering involved in their organization. I feel bad for Perez. I feel like Perez is always on his back foot when it comes to obviously just playing along on the field. I also feel like he has no say in Red Bull. He's
Yeah.
been told what to do and he has to do that. And I think if I were him, I would just do the same thing as well. I won't speak up. He's in no place to speak up. Arjun, do you agree with me, or do you think that Perez could speak up, could have a stand and make sure that he is treated equally as Max?
Well, I'm actually having the feeling of Lewis and Valtteri. When always like with Valtteri, like if Valtteri is in front and then Lewis is coming up, and it's just like James ends up being like, "Hey, Valtteri, it's James, swap positions," like that kind of stuff. Um, so again, I'm just feeling the similar situation, but then again, as a driver, he is not. I personally feel Sergio is not delivering. Again, the machine is absolute genius of a machine. RB20 is a genius machine. But then if he cannot deliver as expected, then I don't know why are they retaining him. Again, it can be probably because
See,
of holding Max's what he calls superiority. But I'm asking, in that case, why can't you promote a junior Red Bull driver, which is Yuki Tsunoda?
see,
I'm not saying Daniel Ricciardo. Yuki Tsunoda.
see, valid, absolutely valid. But the thing that Perez has that Yuki might not have is the fact that Perez, he's been in the seat for a long time and he's probably complained once. You have that, they have that. I wouldn't call it rapport because it's obvious that they hate each other's guts. But Perez will sit quietly. I don't think Yuki's the kind of guy that would sit.
First of all,
Wait, so what? You want like another Kimi Raikkonen, you mean?
I don't
Who will
I
just like
don't
shut
think
up?
see I don't want that. Red Bull want that because Max is their star child. It's very obvious Max is their star child. Having Perez on the team with him, I don't think they want to change that dynamic. They want Max to remain on top. Max is on top.
but okay, I wish I also, because I'm going to sound very hypocritical at this point, but just bear with me for a second. I get what you mean because you don't want any other rivalry with Max, right? But if you go as a team collectively, don't you want to get more points?
That's what they would want to do, but we've seen from the beginning, ever since Max was 18, that their main priority was Max. With Daniel,
No, wait,
that was their main priority.
1 second. Daniel was given once Red Bull absolutely wanted Ricardo to come back. He just made a
They
very
did.
good decision. And then right after that, he was given an opportunity to drive in a Red Bull car. He drove a Red Bull car and he was, I think, a second behind, less than a second behind Max in the Red Bull car. But they couldn't give him a seat that time. So then he went to Visa and now he's struggling. But
No, but I wouldn't say he's struggling. He is getting up. He is getting his act
He was
together.
better this weekend. You could see it. Yeah,
Again,
the
because
right.
because Daniel at this stage is also a legacy driver as well. You put him by the likes of Fernando, Lewis, Daniel. Again, they know the track far better than all the newbies on the block.
Yeah.
So, for as far as Daniel is concerned, as far as Fernando or Lewis is concerned, wet tire performance, they can do something out of it.
I know. I wanted to bring up something about Daniel. I think I wanted to discuss this. What Jacques Villeneuve said about Daniel before the race. It was a little harsh, wasn't it? Me?
I think what he really meant, first of all, I agree with you. It was a very, very harsh statement. Drivers go through immense pressure from everyone, not just the fans, but the team, the contracts. So it is a very difficult thing to hear because we try to sympathize with the drivers. But I think in his perspective, he goes like, "We've seen his best. Where is it again? It doesn't take that long for a driver to come back to its throne, to start regaining confidence and basically start to showcase that this is who I am, this is who I was before. So it really shows how well this shows two things to me at least, that Daniel Ricciardo is under a lot of pressure. That statement was very rude,
Yeah.
my perspective, but I also understand his perspective. He's been in Formula One for 2 seasons. Where is he? There's no recall of his name. Number two, it really shows how powerful Red Bull cars are. Because his whole personality was Red Bull. Since he's
Yeah.
left Red Bull, the Ricardo charm, there was this there was a bit of a confidence, cockiness, but it was a bit funny factor that has
Yeah.
left aside. That's not him anymore. I keep telling people as well, Dan Ricardo is very quiet currently, but past past years, he was one of the most funniest, positive minded drivers out there. Like there was no
Negative
drama back then
energy.
with
Yeah.
Ricardo. It was a very simple race with him.
Yeah.
But Arjun, you have any thoughts on the points?
Well, I feel like we've spoken quite enough, to be very honest, on this topic. But J- Jack Villeneuve was a bit harsh, but at the same time, I will not consider that a negative. I would rather consider that as a positive, and then see what if he. It probably could just be like a reminder that okay, you are racing for a Red Bull family seat, so you rather get your act together or else get out.
Yeah.
This is what I feel. Go on.
I mean, beginning of the podcast, I didn't say that there's a question I wanted to ask. So the new Formula One 2026 car has come out.
Yes, we need to talk all about it.
Yeah.
But can we? But before we come into that, I just want to take just one last bit about Williams. Exceptional performance. Just that Carlos Sainz's spin-off just kind of messed up Alex Albon's race. Because personally, I felt Williams was on top of the game this week in the midfield. They were coming equally in line with RB. That's what I feel. Again, what do you guys think? Again, leaving Logan aside because that's a lost case. I feel like after Nicholas Latifi, the most terrible situation is just with this guy. And I don't even know if he even deserves that seat. Again, he already a cash crunched team like Williams, you bring in constant call repair bills. You're not giving the again as a person who pays a driver, and then if that person doesn't see the result coming out from that driver, why do I pay? And again, it's not like you're paying like 100,000 or something. You're paying like 1 million. And if this guy doesn't end up getting points, then why is he even existing there?
Okay, so to answer your question, first of all, I think what you just said was an amazing state. But you also have to reconsider that Williams don't have the right. They have money, but they don't have resources. So they have money, and obviously people are gonna ask me, well, if they have money, why don't they have resources? Doesn't that go hand to hand? It absolutely does. But there's a certain limit. When I say money, I'm talking about for Williams, that's a good amount of money. That's what I meant by Williams. They have money in terms of Williams, right resources. So I think when it's raining, you are bound to see some crashes with all the teams. I mean, crashes during rain, especially the Canadian racetrack, it's bound to happen. It's fast curves, last minute braking. It's a given. But with Williams, it's always we always talk about the parts. There's no parts availability.
Yeah. I mean, they had no chassis, and I was like,
Yeah, so it gets very difficult for them, and there's a lot of pressure on them, a lot of pressure on the drivers, because I think these are the people who are the face of the teams. Everyone's looking up to them, and if they crash, I could every time in my head, it's a funny game. Have you played that game where it's on your iPhone, where every time you hit an object, you're driving a car, and if you hit any object, it reduces 50 coins. So, and it's really funny because that's how I think as a Williams.
Which is this game? I need to see.
I need to figure it out. We need to find out what the game is.
It's a really fun game. Every time you hit an object when you're driving, it reduces points.
No.
So you
Okay.
drive from destination A to B at the obstacles, and every time you hit something, it reduces points. And that's how I imagine
Oh,
Williams.
interesting.
It is actually similar. It's similar to almost anything because I mean, that's how it works in F1. You know that you hit something, the money that they've kept for the whole year, it just reduces because of the repairs that they have to do.
Yeah,
Red
no,
Bull's
yeah.
trying to avoid that. Williams isn't.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have seen yesterday when George actually was getting his podium, like his trophy, a kind of guilt was on his face. Like
Yeah.
again, he was one place again. It is the very first podium of the team, and all those agreed. But he was basically just like having that fake happiness, just like painted over his face, and that's it.
Even in the post-race interview, he was telling, right, he was not that happy with it. He could have done something about it, but he wasn't able to.
I feel George at this again, he's an amazing driver. He's got the caliber, everything. But with George, what I understand, he is prone to making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Again, he will be just in that fine margins of getting some amazing points. But if George has to lead the team starting next year, again, I don't know, is he still he I believe is still leading the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he is leading the team, he actually needs to ensure that these mistakes are reduced because all the races in the past which he actually was at least near to winning, at least even near to podiums, he manages to pull out something messier. But yeah, Mihi, what are your thoughts?
I just want to support George at this point. I get your point.
No, again, I'm not. It's not a part of a criticism. It's rather what do you call something more constructive for George.
Yeah,
You know?
So obviously George is one of the, I wouldn't say newest drivers, but he's in the new era of driving. You need to also understand that Lewis is leaving, so he already has a lot of pressure on. And obviously wet track days, wet race days are the worst for any driver because the possibility of them making a mistake is times two now. One slip and you're done, right? One aqua play and you're done.
Mhm.
Now, coming back to the point where you said, oh, George Russell, he wasn't really happy. I don't think he's going to be happy. There's a lot of things going on in his head at this point. Like, who's going to be the next driver coming in? There are a few talks about it, but I'm not even sure about it. Number two, he knows that Lewis is not going to come in the podiums. So he's double conscious now on the moves he makes. And that led him on pressure. And I don't know if you noticed, because he slipped, I think, while, was it the third last lap or second last lap? Where
Him
he
and
slipped
Oscar.
and he
Yeah.
let Perez pass through. He slowed down. I think the pressure is building up to him. And I was reading this thing yesterday about simulators and the whole concept of sims have become very accurate, but they're not as accurate as real time, obviously. I give
Of
you
course.
everything. I think Lewis, Max, I would love to say Max, Lewis, Max, Alonso, Ricardo, the old school drivers have the true meaning of experience. George Russell is the guy he's been driving. It's amazing, but he's also been a good combination of simulated training. The real life training is out. I don't know, but you're right though. At that point, he's not very confident, but I think that will come through now because he's
So are
understanding
you
that.
telling
Listen,
it's
I'm
just
better than
that?
my team.
He needs time.
Sorry,
He just needs time, I guess.
I don't
He
think
needs
it's
to.
time. I think
Everything is very uncertain for him right now.
exactly. It's because even his teammate is leaving. He doesn't know who's coming in. I've said that again as well. I'm saying it again.
Exactly.
No, but then the teammate. But again, come on, there we are just like 9 races done. We
Yeah,
have,
but I
if
mean,
I'm not wrong, there's like 15 more races to go.
there are drivers signing, re-signing with Yuki and Nico and everything. Everything is moving. The other teams are moving. Checo re-signed again, but nothing is happening in Mercedes. I think this just goes to show that right now goes to show what was wrong with my English. This just goes to show that nothing is certain right now in Mercedes. Otherwise, George would not be like this. He knows that there's a lot of pressure on him because his seat is like it's there. He's one driver that we know is going to race for Mercedes, so there's a lot of pressure on him. Lewis has left; he's in charge now. You could see his frustrations even during the race. Toto had to come in and calm him down, and towards the end,
Oh
each and every
yeah,
tiny thing that went wrong.
towards the
When
end, when
Lando,
they were
he had that little
fighting.
thing with Oscar. Yeah, you could see that little tension that he had. He is kind of overwhelmed by it. You could see it, not just like he was really happy about the pole, yes, but there was a lot of nervousness along with the excitement that he needs to be able to actually push through and bring it home. I think that little battle between him and Lewis was just him trying to show that, I can do it. I have taken the next step forward, and I will be the
But
one that
then
was leading
see,
Mercedes.
you're doing it with your own teammate. That's just nothing.
That's the thing, but it just goes.
Again,
It's just
because
him showing that. This is, again, everything is like from my head, but this is just probably him showing that I'm ready to take charge, but everything is uncertain for him. I think once we figure out who the driver is that's going to be racing alongside him, things will get much more better. We can see George has potential. That's definitely what we've seen from Canada, right? George definitely has potential. I think he just needs a little bit more time to adjust to the uncertainties, for the uncertainties to turn into proper certainties, and then he'll be fine.
Okay, now you said that, and that is actually pretty phenomenal. You nailed it.
Thanks.
wow,
Okay.
finally some compliments.
I'll take it.
I told her she looks so nice today.
Mm-mm.
Face is looking. Yeah.
Mihir, shut up.
Just trying to hit on a friend. I'm joking. No, but obviously George is a phenomenon. What I saw was Red Bull, Mercedes engine, Mercedes engine, Mercedes engine, Mercedes engine.
Exactly my point. Like, I know McLaren was there, but it was Red Bull, Mercedes engine, Mercedes engine, Mercedes engine, Mercedes engine. I saw that. I was like, Mark, come on, man.
It's also because I was watching the India-Pakistan match at the same time.
I had India-Pakistan, I had F1, I had Roland Garros finals. I had a very sporty day.
And I think at one point I was really happy because one of my mates shared that. Oh, me, Mercedes, E3, P4.
P2,
We got
P2, P3, P4, P5.
No, and in fact, all three Mercedes powered cars has the top three fastest laps. Lewis, George, and Lando, all three of them have got the fastest laps.
That is amazing. Like, you could see them, like, from the beginning, like, not just Lewis and Oscar in the beginning, just like clocking fastest lap after fastest lap, bettering each other one after the other, but like Lewis and George as well. It was so nice to watch. It was so amazing. Finally, a track where both Merc engines were doing amazingly well. It was gorgeous.
Before we talk about the 2026 car, I just want to state Lewis, in my perspective, in my understanding, you guys have your own opinions, but Lewis is giving up on Mercedes per
Yes.
race, not per day, per race. It's I've said this statement before. I'm gonna say it again. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the Avatar movie where the blue creature connects its tail with the animal tail, and they come together and then they understand each other, how to go about. It's the same thing with Lewis. Lewis is connecting its tail with the cars. It's not really the cars are giving the right responses that Lewis wants. So I don't want to comment anything on Lewis because I know Lewis generally is giving up. So what I can say is I hope Lewis is going to do extremely well at Ferrari, and I think I made a decision of who I'm going to support. I think as a driver, I'm going to support Lewis, but as a team, I'm going to support Mercedes. Yeah, that's
You could see it
Anyways,
from
go on.
before. You could see it even if it's like I don't know whether you guys watched the interview, but the Hot Ones interview.
yeah.
There's that one little part where Sean asks him, when's the most you feel disconnected with the car? And then Lewis just said, all the time and right now. I was like, ouch. You could. It's like Mir said. He's given up on the car. He's given up on the team. He's slowly losing that trust. I don't like it, but it is what it is. And I think he's
No, I
moving
feel
on to
again,
Ferrari.
realize this. A person will be given 3 chances.
Yeah.
Lewis thought at least by this third chance everything will be right and normal. It
Mm-hmm.
still didn't.
Yeah.
And Lewis is an impatient driver. I'm not
Oh, that he is.
gonna retract on that statement. Lewis is definitely an impatient driver.
No, actually, he's very patient.
No.
But
He was
wait,
patient all this while.
yeah, exactly. He's become impatient. He wasn't before. He's become impatient. He was
Yeah.
a very calm driver before. Just to let you know.
Huh. Anyways, let's talk 2026 car. Well, I think Mihir has got like his notes all prepped up for the 2026 car. Oh no, you didn't. That's a
I'm
surprise.
surprised.
No, I know a few details, but I want to go Arjun to go first. I just want to take out my notes because I've got the numbers ready.
All right, so we have the 2026 regulations coming into effect. So this basically means it's going to be the wheelbases will reduce from a maximum of 3,600 millimeters to 3,400. Cars width will reduce slightly. We will have a maximum floor width which will be reduced by 150 millimeters. Goodbye DRS after
Oh.
2014 onwards. We had
Mm.
one beautiful thing called VRS, the flap. Click the button and then like whoosh, and then 18 kilometers per hour speed advantage comes up. But that is officially going to come to an end by next year, and then 2026 cars will be non-DRS ones. So no more DRS detection zones or DRS zones. Downforce will be reduced by 30% and drag by 55%. Weight will be reduced by 30 kilos, but I don't think this is a big deal. Okay. Again, back, it's going to be 18-inch tires with minimum loss in grip. Front tire width to be reduced by 25 mm, and then the front bodywork will have a new change coming up. So arches will be removed, and part of the wheel bodywork will be mandated to help achieve optimal wake performance. And yeah, like I'm not going to go on to the specifics, but then at the end of the day, car is going to be a lot more faster on the straights and less faster on the corners. But this car, for certain team principles, they are not a big fan of it. But yeah, now I'm going to give it to Mihir. He's got the actual detail. I think more than me, he can explain it out
Yeah.
because he analyzes this on a very technical aspect. But yeah, Mihir, go on.
Don't expect the car to be as fast as this year's car. It's going to be it's going to be lighter, but it's not going to be as fast as this season's car. You'll see a lot of agility. See a lot of you won't see a lot of sturdiness with the car. See a lot of flexibility. To move around. Obviously, the big thing that shocked me as well: no DRS. I think that's going to be a game changer. No DRS. I think DRS plays a very crucial role in Formula One. It could make your day or it can make it worse. And with having clean air, well, dirty air out of the way. Vish, do you want to explain what dirty air is to our listeners, just so they understand what dirty air is, clean air is?
So, wait, I need a refresher.
Okay, you want me to say it out?
Yeah.
No worries, no worries. Dirty air. So let's say there is car A in front of you, and right behind you is car B. So whatever wind that blows to car B, it's called dirty air. That could really fluctuate with your speed, aerodynamics. It's not getting the clean air. Clean air would help you, dig the car in. It's going to be more control. But with this dirty air, it would increase your drag, which could obviously decrease your speed. And especially when it comes to rain, it becomes safe, well, not health, safety as well, because you can't see the car, which could also lead to playing is a term where the friction between the track and the tire is almost zero, so the car can slip tires or cuts. So that would be reduced. So no DRS, that could potentially mean that all drivers will get almost the same um, modifications, if that's what it is. That's what it's called. Um, Talking about electric power, there's going to be a 300% increase in electric power, which I think is pretty phenomenal. I mean, I'm all about green, go green, but when it comes to Formula One, I think they should stick to the roots.
Mm-hmm.
Put some, crude oil, put some oil, make some fuel. I think everyone in this podcast team would agree, including Jason. He's not here.
Jason will
Um,
so-called agree for it. He's just burning his 2004 Nissan Patrol with like some insane performance upgrades on that, doing the business.
Coming back to fuel, I
Yeah.
think we all want to agree. We all have to. The V10s sound phenomenal. Like, guys, if you are listening and take pause the podcast, or you can go after the podcast, go on YouTube and just write Formula One V10 sound. It sounds
Sexy sound.
so good.
Sexy
And
sound.
yeah, but that's all fine. Coming to the weight of the car, so obviously Arjun said the cars will be lighter and it will be more streamlined, which is good. Which is absolutely amazing. That's what you said. Um, the maximum wheelbase has been reduced by 200 mm to 3,400 mm. That's, I think that's a pretty hefty amount of mm's they've cut down. And obviously, it's 30 kgs lighter, which is really good. Also, I mean, we're talking about downforce. Downforce has reduced by 30% and the drag by 55%. So I think that's you're going to see a lot of active aerodynamic play during the races. But again, this is all simulated. There's no actual testing that has been. So I think if you give it some time, next season is going to be quite interesting. The new regulations, new teams coming in as well,
Mm-hmm.
so and new drivers coming in. So are we excited? Are we excited? Absolutely. Or do you think this season is going to be any changes with the driver stand? I don't think so. I think everyone's going to be very excited to see Lewis in a Ferrari. I think we're going to be very excited to see where Carlos is going to stand.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, Vish, do you have any input for the new car? Have you seen the new car yet?
Yeah, I have. The only thing that I'm gonna greatly miss is the DRS, because every single time uh anyone's in the DRS detection zone, I'm like, DRS, come on, come on. Those bring about some of the most amazing battles. You could see it with Carlos and Oscar. I don't remember where it was, but Carlos and Oscar a couple of races ago. It was so amazing to watch. Oscar has like a personal relationship with the DRS at this point. He greatly misses it, and so will I. That's, I mean, the other regulations, I think, is just gonna be better for the car, like you said, more sustainable. I would love for it to stick to what it was initially, but I mean, everything is more environmentally based, and I think it was just about time till F1 changes into it as well. Who knows what it'll bring to the cars? We never know. We just need to wait and watch and see how it works on track.
Well, I just want to put like a thought though. Again, um, good concept of the bit where they're kind of increasing the electrical bit a lot more. But I'm just a bit concerned. Will that much electric power be enough?
Arjun,
I'm just a bit
I
concerned
think
about that.
that question can only be answered once they do physical testing.
Yeah.
At this point, it looks spectacular. Imagery, it looks spectacular.
Because it's not just the car, because even the engine as well is getting a complete reset.
Yep.
A
Mm-hmm.
newer engine regulation, a newer car body, and again, some people have been posting like it gives vibes of the McLaren MP420, like that was McLaren's racing car back in 2005. Again, like by the looks of it, but again, probably it is a good change. But again, Stefano Domenicali actually did mention if there is the progress on sustainable fuels, or what these people call e-fuels, then there's definitely a chance where we could hear those noisy engines coming back, which will be running a lot more sustainably. Because ideally, if you want to watch electric racing, don't watch Formula One, please.
Watch
Watch
E
Yeah.
for
Formula E.
Yeah.
Formula E is there for a reason.
Yeah.
Like sports like Formula One, MotoGP, World Rally Racing, all these require fuel, and that fuel is greatly required. In fact, I would be more than happy if they took off, if there is a time where, if fuel systems have advanced and there is no hybrid system, it is just fuel only system. Again, at least say in pit stops, again, it's not going to be 2 second pit stops for sure. Those will be longer pit stops, but it will be interesting. Again, because we are seeing Sebastian Vettel right now with his program of Race Without Trace, with sustainable fuels. He is kind of covering those older McLarens or like the older Williams cars. So it's not something which is not doable. It is, but then it's just that to implement that, it will take a bit of time. So
Yeah.
I'm saying probably 2030, we may end up seeing cars like that.
Would be interesting.
Yeah, but keeping that aside, who do you think is the driver of the day according to you from the Canadian Grand Prix?
I can give it to you in writing. The people chose well and the people chose Lando.
Okay. Top three drivers, I think I would say Kevin Magnussen. I think an outstanding, phenomenal first 2 laps. I'll say George, pretty good fight
Mm-hmm.
with Lewis Hamilton and just throughout the race. Obviously, Lando
Okay.
Norris was pretty unlucky with the safety car.
Did
What's
you
your
notice? Did you notice a pattern when the cars were going out?
yeah?
Both Williams out, both Ferraris out, Perez out, and the others were like right one after the other. And I was watching with a few friends, and the only thing that I was telling them was, "Listen, do you see that pattern? Perez is the one that's gone. I'm waiting for like I didn't obviously don't want it, but what the this one says is that what the pattern says that maybe Max might have some sort of an issue." And what I did see towards the end was Max kind of did to I think the last lap or something that he kind of skid, but then he got back. There was a good pattern, but I think as usual Max keeps breaking patterns. So
Well, I would say driver of the day to me, I would say Lance Stroll.
okay,
I'm going to take a different route over here. Reason being, home race, of course, home hero. He managed to ensure that his car didn't have any damage. Managed that P7 position. He was consistent on that. He was defending quite well on a bit more powerful than Ricardo, who was more track familiar than Lance. You know, and of course, I'm going to even give it to Daniel Ricciardo as well. Couple of it's not like 1 or 2 points. He's got 4 points, which again, insane deal for that for him. Because again, all this while it was Yuki was the only one getting points, but then
yeah,
now Daniel has come down to the equation. So again, good racing on his end, and then the third I will give it is to Pierre Gasly.
okay,
Again, he recovered his position up, and then after that, somehow the either way he tried defending that position. Again, I have heard that there was team orders for Esteban Ocon not to attack Pierre Gasly, because ideally they would want both cars come back to but come back home in points, but in safe conditions. But anyways, now next week there is no race. No, we have that no any race. No, we don't have a race.
No race next week.
Okay, next week we don't have a race, and in 10 days and 17 hours we will come down to Espanol. No, that's the language. To Espana for the Spanish Grand Prix at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. And yeah,
And
that is
possibly find out where and possibly find out where Carlos Sainz goes.
home race. We have got two stress busters coming up, which is Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, on that terrible disappointment, thank you so much for tuning on to another episode of Formula Pod. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I've been saying this all this live. But yeah, follow us on our social platforms, which is formula.pod on Instagram. Until next time, hasta la vista. Goodbye.